Hello, and welcome back to the next episode of the Align Love podcast. It is just going to be me today. No guests, no pre-recorded episodes. This is just going to be a true heart to heart as we take some time to close out season 2 together, which is crazy. And I just want to begin before we chat more about season 2 and also what to expect for season 3. I just want to begin by saying thank you. Whether you have listened to this episode for the first time today, or you have binged every episode in season 2, you have been following since season 1, or if you were an OG from the Balance Boss podcast days, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. It means so much to me that you are here. And I always say that if you have made your way somehow into my world, you are family. And I do not say that lightly. And this podcast, it has always been more than just a project for me. Truly, it is a living, breathing extension of not just my own journey, but also the women that walk alongside me. It's an extension of their journey too. And this season in particular has held just a lot of meaning for me because I have experienced so many shifts in the past year and a half to 2 years. And it has been reflected in not just the people that I have interviewed inside of season 2, but also these personal episodes that I have been sharing with all of you. So today's episode is going to be a reflection on everything that has happened in season 2. It's going to be a closing ceremony. It's going to look at what has changed within me and hopefully you as a result of going on this journey with me through season 2. And it's also going to be a little peek of what's coming in season 3, which I am very excited about. But first, before we even go into any of that, I want to take a moment to reflect on something that is really profound that kind of dropped into my body and into my existence yesterday when I was on a hike with my family. And it wasn't anything that was like crazy and mind-blowing and extraordinary. I didn't have a big download or an epiphany. It was just a simple moment of attuning to presence and peace and quiet. And I caught myself on this hike smiling from ear to ear. And it wasn't because anything in particular had happened, but it was because of how I felt in that moment. And it was the pause that I was allowing myself to orient to in that moment. And I was on the hike. I had joined the hike late because I had a client that I had to finish up. And I met Nathan and the girls and our nanny on the hike a little bit later. And I was walking down the path by myself, and there was this overlook. They were all hanging out on a waterfall at the bottom of this little cliff face that is on this beautiful hike that's by our house. And there's this overlook that overlooks the waterfall. And I made my way to the overlook and I was watching them below me, having so much fun, splashing around on the rocks. And the dog was there and there was just so much joy. And I stood there for a little while and eventually they recognized me. And in the moment right before they recognized me, I remember pausing and saying to myself, this is the life that I used to chase. This is the life that I used to try so hard to obtain and find, like the love, the family, the slowness, the ability to go on a hike with the people that you love in the middle of a Tuesday. Nathan came in and said, everybody put your shoes on, we're going on a hike. This is what I chased for so long. And I recognized yesterday, just in that moment, that there was joy all around me. There was peace all around me. There was safety and stillness, but without it being stillness, right? There was stillness inside, but yet there's these beautiful humans that have now made their way into my lives. And I recognized in that moment that I didn't arrive here Like, I didn't arrive in that moment yesterday by accident. It didn't just magically appear in my life. I didn't just fall into my lap. I wasn't lucky. It wasn't one big breakthrough that changed everything. It was a result, yesterday, that moment was a result of these tiny little micro moments and micro choices that I have been making over the past couple of years that have led me to that moment. And those micro moments were the moments where I chose the frequency and I chose the energy of the life that I wanted, even when my current reality did not reflect and did not match yet what I desired in my heart. And that was a really profound moment for me yesterday, because I believe that so many people, we manifest and we think about these desires that we want so badly, and we do the work to get there. But yet when they arrive, we almost stop desiring them. We think, oh my gosh, okay, what's next? Or how can I make this better? And yet the work, like the true work, is being able to recognize that what we desire, we will always desire. And when we choose in the micro moments the frequency of what it is we desire, even when it's not fully in our reality yet, that is what will lead us to the very thing that we want in our life. So I remember old me used to think that love and joy and safety and deep knowing and compassion, these were all things that I had to get to. They were all things that would arrive, once the right man landed in my life, or once I became pregnant, or once the timing worked out, or once the job opportunity made its way to me, or when I lost the 5 pounds, or when there was always this like win, 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 that when it happened, then it would all click. The softness would arrive, the compassion would arrive, the kindness would arrive, the softness and the stillness and the safety, like the love, the knowing, like all of that would arrive when the thing I desired made its way in. And truly, if you resonate with that, because most women do, if you are a successful woman who is in her 30s, 40s, 50s, and still desires deep partnership and family, this is probably a really familiar dance for you. Because, and I'll say this, that's an exhausting dance to be in. And when your body is conditioned for survival, everything does feel like it's a problem that you have to solve. And so if you solve it, then you get to experience the joy of it. And so for a long time, the belief that I had programmed in me is, if I can just work hard enough, if I can just manifest more, if I can just journal more, if I can just visualize more, if I can just be on more dating apps, if I can just put myself in more group, like if I could just do more, then I can feel the thing I want to feel once it's landed. And the thing is that's not actually the case. Like the gripping, the control, the bracing for the shoe to drop, the preparing yourself for the shoe to drop. This is you trying to, in a lot of ways, out achieve your nervous system versus learning how to soften and lean in and listen to it. And the biggest shift in my life came when I actually let myself learn the language of my nervous system and shift from understanding that the very thing that I desire is actually already here. And if I want it in physical form, I have to orient to it now in the present. And I will give you an example of this. Women always say, well, when I meet the right man, I will know and I will feel this sense of deep love. And what shifted in me was understanding that the deep love that I desired out of a partnership, it was actually already in my existence. I was just choosing to not orient to it. And the ability to orient to it when you think it's not in your existence, because here's the thing, love is love is love. I love Nathan just as much as I love my best friend, Kristen, and my best friend, Lily. And I was able, by orienting to the love that they had for me and really letting myself feel it and be with it, I started to become a conduit for more of that, because our frequency, the frequency we choose, is our reality. It becomes our reality. Our reality is a reflection of our most predominant frequency. So when I allow myself to start to orient to the very thing that I was desiring and noticing how it was already present in my life, I became a conduit for more of it. And so I tell the women inside of my containers all the time, when I met Nathan, he didn't bring something I didn't have. He didn't complete me. I already had a lot of love around me. He expanded my capacity to feel into it even more. He expanded the love that I already had. And the ability to do this, the ability to orient to what's there, came from my ability to know safety within my own body, because it's impossible to orient to what's already there. It's impossible. I shouldn't say it's impossible, but it's difficult to orient to what's already there if our nervous system has been conditioned to seek out lack, scarcity, survival, fear as its primary baseline. So the real shift in my life and being able to call in this love and this family and the abundance in my career and the spaciousness that I have and the beautiful friendships that surround me and the women that I get to touch on a daily basis, what really shifted my ability to call all of that in wasn't a mindset shift. It wasn't a strategy. It came from understanding the language of my nervous system. It came from my body. It was learning how to make safety my baseline instead of chaos, instead of achieving, instead of productivity, instead of feeling like I needed to do something else to achieve X or Y. When I started to orient to softness, when I started to orient to safety, when I started to orient to love and joy and abundance, because my nervous system could, because in the past it couldn't, because it was in survival. I didn't have the tools to be able to orient there. And that's 90% of the problem. Most women haven't done the nervous system work to be able to orient there. When I was able to do that, then my external world slowly started to change. But the external world happened as a result of what was happening in the internal landscape. When I was able to shift what was happening inside of my nervous system, then I was able to orient to the things that I already desired and how they were already in my presence. And then I attracted more of it. I attracted things that were deeper in alignment with the things that were already there. And the things that weren't in alignment with what I was orienting to fell off. Right? And so most people, they don't understand that. They don't get it. They think they need to do another thing. What you really need to do is you need to learn the language of your nervous system so that you can orient. A, you can get clear on your desires, and B, orient to the sensations and the emotions associated with your desires and recognize that they're already here, but you have to feel safe enough to notice that they're already here. There's a saying out there, be, do, have. When you can be in the identity of the woman who has the things you desire, then the how will present itself, which is the do. The things that you need to do to have the things you desire will present themselves if you can be in the identity of that thing. And then the last step is have. It's not have, do, be. It's not, okay, I'm going to wake. I feel complete. Like I have the relationship and now I can feel complete. No, it's be. Am I complete? Can I orient to wholeness and safety and worthiness? And as a result of orienting to that and noticing where it's already in my life, then the universe will give me the how on how I can have more of it. And then I get to have the have part of it because I'm being in the identity of the woman that already has it. Your reality truly, deeply is a mirror. And that is what has really made itself known for me in season 2 this year. Right? This entire season has been a deep reflection of that truth. And I've tiptoed around it, but I really landed in it. What you choose in every single moment is always choosing you back. If you decide to show up to life from the space of lack and scarcity, like there's never enough, or this person's always going to do me wrong, or I'm never going to be enough, I'm never going to have enough, money isn't abundant. If you're the person that gets a coffee every morning and tips the lowest amount because you got to save, that's what you're going to be met with. Always. So I always ask myself, what is it that I desire? And then what is the identity of that woman? How does she think? How does she act? What does she believe? How does she feel? And then when I have these choice points that happen all day, every day, we think we don't have choice points, but we do. We just haven't learned to slow down enough and come to safety in our own nervous system to recognize the choice points. When we have these choice points, we have to ask ourselves, am I saying yes to this choice point from the version of me that I desire to be, or from the version of me now?
Hi, love. Quick pause before we dive back into the episode. If you are ready to stop settling in your love life and you're ready to start calling in the kind of relationship that feels deeply aligned, safe, and soul expanding, I have created something that you are probably going to want to take advantage of. It's called my Manifest Your Dream Relationship 3-day training, and for a limited time, you can grab it for just $11. Inside of this training, I will walk you through the exact nervous system-based process that I used to call in a deep, healthy, secure, conscious partnership without chasing, without performing, and most importantly, without abandoning myself. Please know this is not surface level manifestation work. I'm going to teach you real, deep embodiment work that is rooted in the nervous system. So head over to laurenzoeller.com/manifest to get instant access to the 3-day mini training. It is going to change so much about the way that you approach dating and the way that you show up in relationships. Again, head to laurenzoeller.com/manifest and make sure that you take advantage of this 3-day training while it's only $11. Okay, back to the episode.
And so yesterday on that hike, I had a moment to pause and I realized like, whoa, like this is going to make me emotional. This moment right here is a reflection of all of those micro choice points that I made. When this thing, this family, this joy, this peace, this safety wasn't in I couldn't tangibly touch it. Now I can walk down the waterfall and I can touch it. And I can be with it and I can feel the hugs and I can feel the kisses and I can feel the embrace that happens with the kiddos and Nathan and the chickens and the kittens and the dog. Like I can tangibly feel that. But those things didn't arrive. And then I felt the joy and the peace and the safety and the compassion and the surrender. I had to find those in the micro moments. And yesterday, again, there was no like profound aha download. It's just, I had a moment where I recognized that those micro moments led me to this moment. They led me to this moment. And I will always desire this moment because it's the very thing that I've desired. Our desires will always be desires. They never go away. We desire what we desire. And we will always desire. We have to continue to desire what we desire. And that is something that we have to remember. So this entire season has been a reflection of that very thing, of that truth. You can have whatever it is that you desire, whatever the universe has put on your heart, it is yours. It is yours. How awful would it be if we had a God, the universe, whatever you believe in, if we had a higher power who said, oh, I'm going to put this desire on your heart, but you can't have it. No way. It's not the way it works. We get to have what we desire, but we have to start choosing into those desires from the identity of the woman that has it already in her existence. And we have to do those in the micro moments now. So we're going to head into season 3 here very soon at the end of August. And you may have noticed that in season 2, there were not very many solo episodes. I did a lot of interviews in season 2. And that was for a reason, because there were people that were really on my heart. I wanted to pick their brain. I wanted to deepen into their teachings and understand how they viewed love, how they viewed intimacy, how they viewed partnership. But I've got something deeper in store for you as we head into season 3. And this is something that I've never done before. But in season 3, I'm ready to put it all on the table. And I'm going to take all of you along for the ride. So for the first time ever, this is really big for me. All of season 3 is going to be a solo season. It is going to be a solo season. And it is going to be what it is like to actually be in my world. I have been so deeply blessed, so blessed to have so many incredible powerhouse women that have made their way into the Aligned Love Experience ecosystem. The women that we have inside of the collective, the women who have joined the retreat, the women who are in expansion. And let me just say, okay, this is how amazing my community is. We had 14 beautiful women come to my retreat, my Align retreat in the British Virgin Islands a few weeks ago. And I opened up a year-long container to work alongside me for a year. We're going to dive deep into health, wealth, relationships, and purpose. And we're doing deep somatic work in all 4 areas. I have women who are inside of my community who are writing books, women who are launching nonprofits, women who are navigating career changes. And I mean, the incredible women that are inside of my community are vast. I'm so obsessed with all of them. And I decided to launch for the first time an opportunity to come alongside me for a year-long container with me. And you all, the container, I only opened 14 spots. The container filled without me even having to launch it to the public. I was blown away. And it filled in less than 48 hours. Blown away. So much so that I ended up opening more spots inside of my community because more women wanted in. So I recognized in that moment, like, holy cow, like there's something here. And I want to be able to share that magic, like the magic that they're touching into, obviously not that deep because they're really going deep into the somatic work, deep into the healing. They are going to be completely different women this time next year. But I want to be able to share some of that magic here with you. And so I have committed myself to making season 3 a solo season. You are going to be hearing from me. I'm going to be teaching you and also guiding you. One of my core values is integrity. You know this, integrity, transparency, vulnerability. That is who I am. And so all of season 3 is going to be about that, my path, my clients' paths, my teachings. I'm going to be talking about nervous system truths that I haven't shared anywhere else. I'm going to be talking about behind the scenes lessons from what it's like to step into a family where there's, kiddos in the mix and a partner who is a busy working partner, like what that dynamic is like. I'm going to be talking about business and love. I'm going to be talking about personal stories in relationship to my own healing journey. I'm going to interview some of my clients on the episode, on some episodes for next season. I'm going to be doing deep dives into identity and embodiment and self-worth and softness and how to claim your power. And then I'm also going to be leaving you with real deep somatic anchoring tools that you can use right now to start to learn the language of your nervous system and shift your identity. Okay. Next season is going to be ridiculously intimate, deeply grounding, more ways for you to connect with me. And truly, I'm so excited and I can't wait. And I'm also terrified. So that's what's coming in season 3. And as we wrap up this very last episode of season 2, I just want to leave you with this little nugget. And I really want you to feel this in your bones. The life that I'm living now, the love, the family, the softness, the animals, the spaciousness, it did not happen by chance. I want you to hear that. It didn't happen by chance. It wasn't a miracle. It came from the tiny, invisible, micro moment choices where I kept choosing the frequency I knew I was desiring before it arrived in my physical presence. I didn't wait for proof. I became the proof. I was it because I knew I was worthy of it. And you get to have this too. And you don't have to force it. You don't have to put it on a timeline. You just have to continue to orient to the desire and orient to the sensations and the emotions associated with that desire, the identity of the woman that already has that thing over and over and over and over again, even when you don't have proof that it's in your current reality. So take this into your summer, take this into the next month, into July. Let yourself feel this. Let it simmer in your body. Let it live there. That if I can continue to orient to the very thing that is meant for me and start to find the things that are already there, that are in relationship to what I desire, I can have everything that I desire. I truly can have it. I'm going to be talking about so many stories where this has happened in season 3 for me and how I have chosen this as my life. Like, this is the way I live my life. If I have a desire on my heart, it will become mine because I can identify the identity of the woman who has it, and I start to live it as her before it makes its way in. So ask yourself as we close this episode out, what are you choosing? Not just in one moment, but in every single micro moment. What are you choosing? Are you choosing the frequency of 1.0? Are you choosing the frequency of you now? Or are you choosing the frequency of the woman that has the thing that you desire? Because the life that you want, the life that you desire, the love that is meant for you, it isn't waiting for you on the other side of, okay, well, if I have it, then I can feel it. It's waiting for you right now. It's already here. Can you start to live your life as if it's already here? So thank you. Thank you for being a part of this season. Thank you for being a part of my community. Thank you for being a part of this family. And especially in a world that's always asking you to be somewhere else. Even when you're on Instagram, you're getting ads all the time to get out of Instagram, right? It's like you're always being pulled in a million directions. And so it means a lot that you have decided to listen to this podcast and you continue to stay here. I am going to see you in August for season 3. I'm so excited. I'm going to spend the next couple of weeks really binging out and batching content for all of you. And I cannot wait to see what is in store when we all come back together in August. So until then, please make sure that you stay safe, stay grounded, stay soft, and remember that you're not behind. You are becoming, and everything that you desire is on its way for you. I love you so much. See you in season 3.
Wraps up today's episode of the Aligned Love podcast. One thing that would really help me and the other new potential listeners is for you to rate this show and leave a comment wherever you tune in and listen. Also, make sure to link up with me on Instagram at Lauren Zoeller, and please share this podcast with anyone who you think may enjoy it. Until next episode, remember, every transformation begins with one moment of awareness, and I hope today has been yours. I'll see you next time.